Hello guys, and today I'm going to be attempting to implement logging to a file where basically it'll be a hidden file not meant for the end user, and every time we run a command or data gets fetched, read, etc, it gets logged to this file, and it means for me debugging could be much more useful and easier to spot bugs and everything. So I have got two potential crates. I think we're going to go just for straightaway tracing because that's the one I saw as potentially better for asynchronous operations. So we have to add it by adding tracer, and we have to also add this one if we're compiling our project. So let's just try and compile and make sure we didn't somehow break anything. Perfect, still compiles fine. We're actually going to use the log crate instead of tracing, as it seems to be just simpler and much easier for us to use. We're just going to add log here instead of tracing. I'd removed tracing already. We now need to pair our logger with flexi-logger, which should allow us to log directly to a file. I'm going to create a new directory here, and I'm going to call it logs, and we're just going to kind of paste in this kind of boilerplate stuff. Now that we've added in this kind of initialization kind of boilerplate for the logger, I've set the level to trace, which is the lowest you can have. I mean, so it goes error is the highest, then warn, then info, then debug, then trace. I'm going to keep it at trace just so I can send all these kind of things that I want in, basically. So we just log this straight away when we run the program. If we run the code now, and we would give it a second, we should see in here we have a trading bot file name, and here's all the errors that we placed here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go through the entire program and add all of this throughout, and I think that should be interesting. So I'm gonna get started on that now. I've added just a couple here. I'm going to just do a double check to make sure everything's working as expected. I want to check the file. So we have the program started. We created our main portfolio. We start the main loop. Oh, look at, oh, so there must be, the request is adding its own logs. So it's starting a new connection. Info successfully got market status, and it's false. Info starting main loop. Oh wait, if we have starting main loop inside the loop, it will continue every time that we loop. Yeah, we don't want that. I'm going to fix here. I actually want timestamps here because logs are extremely helpful with timestamps. So I'm going to quickly add that in now. Adding format, basically setting the format to be detailed, is now giving us the time and then obviously the level. But then look, it's giving the, so this is what I've done here. These are my logs. This shows the crates that we're using, or modules. Now it also shows the line and the file. So because we have multiple files, this will be very useful. And I think that's extremely useful. So I'm going to continue adding lots of information and error loggings throughout the program, and it means that I can almost get rid of these, or at least I'll comment them out and see what the program's like, because at the end of the day the end user doesn't want to have the lines printed. It would be far better off just, instead of like printing that the market's failed up here, just have, you know, failed to fetch market where it normally is at. That's much more intuitive to them. So I'm just going to go through and comment out the print lines we have and keep it in the log file. While I was doing the logging, I remembered another one of our to-do lists is going to be saving the last 100 prices at close in a text file, so we don't have to call that alpha API when we have a 25-day limit. So it means if we, let's say we call Apple now, I'll have the last 100 days in history, and if we have to make another call, like we only basically have to save that one day or the difference in days that have been claimed. And it also means if we want to reuse Apple on the same day, we don't need to re-download all of the data again. We can just use it locally. I've come across an issue where when we're loading the state from a file there's no check to see if the file actually exists. So I'm just going to slowly implement that now. I found this great function online, weekly Rust trivia. So we can use this function. I don't want to put it in the code without basically remembering that I yoinked it. So I'm going to make sure to put the website address in a comment. Great, so you can see here that it's returned our 3 files in, and because I've not added the check, we're panicking at runtime. So I'm going to implement that fix now to get it working. Now we have implemented the validation. If you try to load something that doesn't exist, like we see here Jacob, John and test exist. If I try to load Bob, it says failed to load state. A file does not exist. Great, so now that should be everything added with logging. I'm going to basically simulate a couple of open trades and saving and then loading to see what the log file looks like. So we've opened up, let's open up another trade of 2 Apple. So we have 2 Apple, 2 AMD. We're going to save this state as Bob. We can see here bob.txt has been added. We're going to quit. We're going to rerun. We're going to check our status. We have nothing. We're going to load state and we are Bob. We can see here now we have our files, and I'm going to just say I want to take out $500. We only have $294. Let's just take out $200 then. Now we have $94 left, and that's perfect. So I think the main thing to do would be check the log. Because we quit the program, obviously it's split into 2. We have the program started. We can see here that I added $1,000 to start with. Yep. We wanted to open up a trade of AMD. Yep. The ticker was validated. We converted 2 shares. We then check the status of the trade. Successfully printed of 1 trade. So I mean, it seems to all be working quite well. So I'm very happy with how this has ended up. So thank you guys for watching me adding logging, which is kind of boring, but it means now like we can kind of hide it away, and then if someone ever does use this and things aren't working correctly, you can look in the logs and try and figure out what's breaking and things like that. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you guys later. Bye.